Brent Barry style, right?
Yeah,
that dude's got some hops.
Style.
But I mean, look, you got Bledsoe. There's a lot of good players in that team. I know what you're saying. I mean, Brook Lopez, can he show up in a playoff series? Can he has those nights where he disappears. Let's be real. He disappeared a little bit the other night in the Pelicans game, as did Derek Favors, who had a robust 0 points. But that was another thing about that game too. Let's say this. Another thing, you can't have Drew Holiday and Derek Favors combined for 7 points. Mm-hmm. They have to get better shots. Drew's 1 for 11 in his last 2 games shooting 3. I mean, you got to stop shooting the 3, Drew, until it goes down.
Let me ask you this.
I understand you got to keep shooting. Technically, that's the mindset. But when you're going 0 for 5 or 1 for 6 in a night, you got to stop. Take a couple days off.
Let me ask you this. It seems like Drew's had an awfully inconsistent season. He's battled a few injuries. Do you think that the Pels should have traded him at the deadline if you could have got a haul for him?
To me, I didn't like. I don't know, man. I didn't like what the Heat could offer. I really didn't. I wouldn't have made the deal just because of Tyler Hero. It had to have been Denver. It had to involve Michael Porter Jr. If it involved Michael Porter Jr., I say make the trade. If you could get a Beasley and a Junior out of this, I see people wanting Millsap, and I don't understand why. I don't think they realize he's pushing.
Was traded.
Yeah,
he was traded.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that's what I mean. If you could have got him and say Michael Porter Jr. for Drew Holiday. And maybe whatever else the throw-ins are, I would have did that. I wouldn't have took Paul Millsap back. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't understand that at all. I mean, I kept seeing people say, "Oh, Millsap." I remember Millsap being a bad motherfucker, but that was like 3 or 4 years ago. He's not been the same player the last couple of years.
Millsap has been washed for a couple of years.
Absolutely. People remember that name, but his best days are behind him.
Honestly, Millsap, he's just not a guy that works in today's NBA.
No, he doesn't. He's very much like a David West. They're very much similar kind of players.
He just doesn't shoot a high enough percentage from the 3-point line.
No. But you know what?
So what are some of your takeaways from this
trade deadline?
From this trade deadline.
I would say I think the Hawks were big winners. I think the Heat did a really good job. The Heat didn't give up shit, and they got Andre Iguodala, who basically, like Pat was saying, Andre's a soldier, man. The dude didn't play all year. He's making like $17 million. Now he's got 2 more years in Miami to follow that for not playing a single minute this year. So, I mean, hey, look, kudos to Andre Iguodala. But I'll tell you this. You look at the Heat. I think they can give a lot of people trouble. I don't know if they're a championship caliber team. I know Pat Riley, the actual Pat Riley, not our boy Pat Riley, was saying he feels championship contention all the way. And then you got to say that. That's your organization. But I like the defense. I like Jimmy Butler in a wing with Andre Iguodala. That's going to be hard. That's a team that could give the Bucks a little bit of trouble with Giannis and with Chris Middleton. You know what I'm saying?
Better, just as good as any team.
And they're strong guys. They're strong fellows.
Jimmy Butler brings a level of toughness that just trickled down to the whole team. Eric Spoelstra still one of the better coaches.
Yeah, I mean, how good is that guy? I remember a lot of people doubted him when LeBron was there. They thought, he just lucked into this great team. Look how good of a coach he is.
Bam Adebayo is
all-star. All-star. I remember that guy from Fantasy a couple years ago, like, who's this? I'm going to get this Bam Adebayo guy or whatever, and just see what it takes. I remember that dude, he was a rebounding machine, shot blocker,
I don't have it in front of me, but he's a classic, third-year breakout type of guy. Yeah,
he's filling up the stat sheets on every given night, man, any given night.
And they got rid of some albatross contracts by getting rid of
James Johnson.
James Johnson and
Justice Winslow, huh?
Justice Winslow.
Yeah, he went to Atlanta. Oh, no, Memphis.
I don't like what Memphis is doing, too.
Jay Crowder. Wait, they got Jay Crowder as well, didn't they? Dude, it was like 100 players that got moved, but didn't Jay Crowder move as well?
I have it in front of me.
Come on, it's the fastest hands in the game right now.
Hands is
he gives the best hand. We need that guy on a podcast one day, man. Old Nipples Shockey.
All right, so
him and Nipples Tardif could have a battle.
All right, so the Grizzlies got Justice Winslow, who's still 23, can defend multiple.
I feel like he's been around longer than that.
He's been injured, but he's played well when he's been in there this year. But the Heat just had cut bait. They also got rid of Dion Waiters, who's also getting some money.
Yeah, that's a dude you want out your locker room as fast as possible. He's just been kind of a headache.
And they picked up Gore Goudang, who's a backup center
in Minnesota. Huh? Yeah,
mm-hmm.
And Minnesota, and we saw them swap players. Andrew Wiggins going to Northern California, and D'Angelo Russell never did really fit. I mean, of course, it's been a lost season for the Warriors with the injuries to Curry and Clay. He's going to Minnesota now. D'Angelo Russell. Minnesota's still to me, I don't think they have any direction.
That's
yet
probably
still.
the trade with the most star power.
It is. And neither one of those teams is going to be in the playoffs. That's the funny thing about it.
Towns is apparently really good friends with D'Angelo Russell.
Oh, that's what it is.
And he's been clamoring for them to get him ever since the offseason. And they finally get him. They trade away Andrew Wiggins, who had one of the worst contracts in the league. Somehow got finessed a max out of Minnesota. And now he takes that max to Golden State, and if he doesn't step his game up, that's going to be an albatross.
Well, you know what that does? But you know what that does, though? I think that's all. Well, obviously, it's all about a next year deal. You get Steph Curry back. I mean, they won with Harrison Barnes at the 3. I would say Wiggins, to me, is a little more talented of a player than Harrison Barnes. I mean, if you throw Steph out there next year with Clay, with Wiggins, with Draymond Green, I think that team is obviously a championship contender again. Wiggins could end up doing some stuff for them. I mean, if it doesn't, if you can't work in the Golden State system, it ain't going to work for you, period, anywhere.
I mean, you got to give credit to Golden State. I mean, not exactly with this trade, which you also get a lightly protected first out of Minnesota, and if they continue to free fall, it could be, up middle, all the way up to a top 10 pick.
Right.
But the thing that I like is that the Warriors, when everybody said they're going to cut bait on guys and try to avoid the luxury tax, they're showing their fans that they're still buying in, and they're keeping these max spots open to max out the salary on this team, which gives them flexibility if they need to make a move in the future.
No, and that's good. But you know what? It's a good sign from ownership. When you have ownership that understands, hey, my building's sold out every night. People are paying families are paying top dollar. The fans, are all behind us. And you support them. You basically give them one back and say, hey, we're going to get, and I'm, as a Cubs fan, I like this, because I grew up with a different Cubs brand of baseball when they were owned by the Tribune Company. The Ricketts family now, they spend money. They flirt with $200 million on their payroll every year now, just about. And I'll tell you, as a fan of a team, when they're going out and they're at least trying to spend that money, they're showing that they give a shit about the fans. And to me, that just makes a team that much easier to support. We always talk about it all the time. We joke about teams. We talk about your past Knicks hood. I talk about my Bulls hood back in the day. But the Bulls fans, like I said, Jerry Krause and Reinsdorf, the two Jerrys, they shit all over the fans. That's back when you didn't have to spend money in the NBA. You have a sold-out United Center every night. You made millions upon hundreds of millions of dollars through the Jordan era. Let's be real. That place was a money printing machine over there on the west side of Chicago. And, you basically shit on the fans by putting that product out there after the Jordan era, the first couple years. I understand wanting to do it from the ground up and show, doing something different, but they gave no effort. They spent no money. They brought trash in for the first few years. And, when ownership does stuff like that, it's just real hard to get behind them, man. I mean, it's hard for the fans to really feel good about things. But Golden State, I got to applaud that as well.
And let's take a look at what they've done. I mean, this team is a team that's pretty much tanking this year. They're more than likely going to get at least a top 5 pick coming into the 2020 draft. They've acquired maybe a top 15 pick from Minnesota. I mean, I don't see how they get noticeably better anytime soon. Yeah. Then you return Clay, Steph. You got Wiggins that maybe if you get him into your program, you might have something there. You have a guy that can operate in the middle of the court.
It's like a lost year.
And he has a lot of defensive upside and is a really good rebounder for his size.
Yeah.
So and you're looking at in 2021, and like I said, the pick from Minnesota. So
yeah, that's a good draft.
They're starting to load up the war chest here.
Well, and think about that too.
It's a run in next year.
It's like the lost season that becomes a found championship, possibly. Look what happened to the Spurs years ago. Remember David Robinson missed the whole season just about. They had just Sean Elliott, I think, was like the only, they had Sean Elliott, maybe Avery Johnson, Vinny Del Negro, but remember, they got the number 1 pick. They landed a guy by the name of Tim Duncan, who became an instant superstar. Robinson came back the following year. They win a championship right away. So, I mean, to me, that could definitely happen for Golden State next year. But you got an update on the Pels, man? Anything going new with the Pels? I know they got to be in the third quarter by now in Chicago. Pels have to win this game, by the way. Bulls are really depleted. The Bulls, the funny thing about this that I didn't understand, I couldn't quite fathom, but the Bulls are actually closer to a playoff spot in the East than what the Pels are in the West. What does that tell you? You know what I'm saying? They're actually only 3 games back. Pels are, I think, 6 back of the Grizzlies at this point. Now, the Pels, I think, can catch Phoenix with a win tonight. That's one team you want to catch. You can't hit a home run in 1 week. You got to catch game by game. And we all talk about the Pelicans having a soft schedule down the stretch, but you got to streak together some wins. You got to pull a 4 or 5 game win streak here. And this is the team you got to start against.
Pelicans up 22 points at the end of the third.
All right, so going to the fourth quarter.
81.
So Pels look like unless they do something stupid in the fourth, they're going to win in the United Center tonight in Chicago. They go play Indiana on Saturday. Indiana's a pretty good team. But that's a team we don't talk about in the East too much. But could Indiana sneak up on anybody? Oladipo's playing again. Miles Turner was a talk of some trade, possibilities. That didn't happen. I know Pat mentioned about Miles Turner, who would have been a good pickup. But Sabonis having a great year, breakthrough year for that kid. That's a good team though, man. That's a team that's sneaky over there in the East.
In a well-rounded effort, they have 8 guys that with a chance to hit double figures tonight.
With the Pels, what's Zion up to? I know everybody wants to know that.
15. Well, we won't talk about his rebounding tonight, but he has 15
bad rebound
points.
tonight.
He's got 3 rebounds.
Ooh, Zion, what's up with that? What's Bi up to, man? Our lone all-star.
Bi has 15 points.
Bi, man, he's gonna get real cozy with the United Center. He's gonna be there next weekend representing the Pels in the All-Star game, man. I'm still loving that, man. Bi's had a hell of a year.
And as far as these trades, I think Minnesota, they're not really keen on winning.
No,
they just want to be mediocre for the rest of their existence. If they really wanted to make a splash, maybe they should have traded.
They're scared to
Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, they're scared to lose him. They don't want to lose a superstar. They're worried about
a guy
money.
That hasn't won in a couple months.
Yeah,
and a guy that hasn't helped them win games. But bigger overview, maybe they didn't trade him because centers are just being so devalued.
It's weird,
Andre
man.
Drummond got traded for a bag of chips.
Talk about that. It's funny. Fans could not fathom that because when you look at his stats,
Clint Capella, like we talked about, just
17 points. Now, to me, Capella, I think he fits a little more than Drummond does, but Drummond's like an old school center to me. Mm-hmm. But 15 rebounds a game. Dude's leading the NBA in rebounds. 17 points a game.
Slow-footed centers don't have a place in the NBA.
It's not
days.
the same. Now let me ask you this. I still believe it's going to come back. What do you think? You think it comes back? What's a time frame you think that comes back in the NBA? I think it will.
Centers?
Things will. Trends will come and go.
Look at the Lakers right now with close to the best record in the West, close to the best record in the league. Heavily relying on big guys right now.
Well, they are,
with Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, and Anthony
Davis. Yeah. Yeah, look at the Spurs. Spurs. They're not in the playoffs right this moment, but they're not in the playoff bracket for the moment. But the Spurs, LaMarcus Aldridge has been huge. Brook Lopez has had some moments from Milwaukee. Giannis is basically like a 1 through 5. He's like 7 foot. Basically, his wingspan's off the charts. Big men can succeed. Joel Embiid, obviously, Al Horford over there in Philly. They still got some things to iron out over there.
But you either got to be a unicorn. Or you have to be like super elite defensively, and when we say super elite defensively,
cover the whole floor.
You have to be able to block shots and be able to
play
handle switches.
Yeah.
When you get switched on a smaller guy, you have to be able to hold your own.
Remember, everybody was
you're gonna get run off.
Remember, everybody was impressed with AD. A few years back, 4 or 5 years ago here in New Orleans, when he would go out and defend guards occasionally. Everybody's like, "Man, look at this! He can go defend a guard." Now you're starting to see that more commonly amongst bigs because they're asked to do it. Real quick, man. I know you got the birthday going this weekend, man. Crew de Vue, man. If people that are in New Orleans watching this, even the folks that are in New Orleans who've never been before, one of the best parades to me. It's basically like whatever, throw all your emotions out the window. If you get butthurt too easy about something, it doesn't matter which way you stand on certain issues, man. It's just a night to have fun and enjoy life. Some people take it the wrong way because, it will be political. Let's not doubt that. But these people are having fun with it, man.
They soften the blow with boobies.
They do, man. They do. And it's a great parade, man. It's an enjoyment of life, man. Because people, we get too damn divided about politics. It gets silly. I scroll through that shit on Facebook now. I will not argue with anybody over that. Everybody has their beliefs. Nobody's going to change anybody else's minds. But I would say this, man. If you have an opportunity, the weather's going to be nice this weekend. Get to that parade, man. We're all going to be out there. We're going to be getting sauced up. You know what I mean?
Saucy.
We're gonna need some fucking French toast, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be wild, man. What the time frame is, man? Are you got any
30?
Oh, go ahead. 30?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, man, it feels like a long 30 tonight. But we've been talking trade deadline like a mother. Real quick, man. There's not really a lot of talk in the NFL. We are Saints and Sinners, so we obviously got to bring a little Saints into the mix for a second here. the only thing I've seen Saints related that really caught my attention, because right now, let's be real, it's not going to happen for a couple weeks in football. Chiefs are celebrating, they're having their parades, all that good stuff. But Cam Jordan and Marshawn Lattimore.
Combine to get us.
Yeah,